Imagine catching a single trade that runs for 180 pips.
Yeah, boy.
That's the kind of move that most traders dream about. And in this video, I will be showing you exactly how we did it. What's good YouTube, Julian here, and in this video, I'll be breaking down this massive 180 pip trade that I took with my students. And you're gonna see how I spotted the setup, the specific criteria I looked for before pulling the trigger, the confirmations I waited for even after price entered the zone, and how the entire trade played out in the end. Now, this is an original, unedited, raw video that I sent to my premium students right after the trade happened. But today, I will be revealing it to you guys on YouTube.
Nice.
So grab your notebooks, take down some notes, and let's get into it. Now, if you like this style of video, I'm going to be giving you 5 seconds. Quickly click on the like and subscribe button so that you don't miss out on my future videos. And I want you to also comment more if you want more of these kinds of videos. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So without further ado, let's jump right in. So at that point in time, when I gave this review, the price was actually playing between this roadblock over here and over here. All right. So I was saying that if price actually breaks above this roadblock, we can actually look for buys. But the criteria is that it has to break past this roadblock, I would say, of around 3358. Okay, why I give specifically 3358 is because if you actually notice, even the day before, it was actually at this area right here. So this entire area here, I consider it as the main roadblock, not just this portion right here. So if you actually see the resistance right here, I give it somewhat about 3358. So that was what I actually mentioned. Now, if price were to break below, okay, and this was the roadblock that I actually gave. Now, this roadblock was around 3348 level, and I say that if price actually did close below, at least M15 close below 3348, we can actually start to look for sales. So what happened? All right, and if you actually notice the exact criteria that I actually gave, I say that even if price were to break below 3348, we need to wait for a retest of any M1 or M5 FVG before we enter. Better yet, if it comes up with a bearish engulfing candle, right, to give us further confirmation that the sell is going to be taking place. So let's have a look and see, did it actually happen? So right here, I actually explained or showed that there was a sell that actually was confirmed, right? Because M30 closed way below the roadblock. So when M30 closed below the roadblock, this actually created an RSS sell. You can see right here, RSS, right? New S, even though this new S hasn't, changed into a support yet, but it has already closed below, so you can just consider that as done. Okay, now just because there is a close below doesn't mean that we can straight away enter.
Hell no!
We have to wait for, right, a retest of the same roadblock. So price has to go back up here before we can actually look to sell. So when price comes back here, I also need to look for an area that I can actually enter. So where is the area? Again, like I mentioned, we are looking for the retest of any M1 or M5 fair value gap. So where is the fair value gap? Notice that I actually marked the fair value gap right over here, M5 fair value gap. So if price does come back here, I can actually do my entry right about there. So what happened right here? Price actually tapped into that. So let's see in the actual chart to see how it actually played out. Okay, so if I were to go to my chart right here, so at that point in time, this was the roadblock, and then the fair value gap was around here. Right, this was M15 fair value gap. Let me just mark this. M5, it will look somewhere around this. Okay, so right here you can see that price actually tapped into this fair value gap on M1. Of course, if you say that you want to actually get further confirmations, you want to look out for a breakout or at least a bearish engulfing candle. So where is the bearish engulfing candle? So you can see right here, the clear bearish engulfing candle. Is this a bearish engulfing candle? Not yet. This is a bearish engulfing candle, okay, but at this point in time, price did not create a lower low just yet. That's the reason why price actually came back up first. So now, at this stage, can you see a bearish engulfing candle? This was a bearish engulfing candle that engulfed this candle right here. It's actually clearly bigger than this candle. So where can we enter as soon as we see a bearish engulfing candle, right? You can actually enter once the candle closes. So if you enter right about here, you can put your stops just above the fair value gap, and then you can see this was how we actually managed to secure a 40 pip drop, right? You can see 40 pips right around here, 40 pips. So this essentially was around a 1:1.5 risk to reward. 1:1.5 risk to reward, assuming you entered over here. Now, if you wanted to wait for the breakout, right, whereby this candle here closed below this, right? So this was the breakout. You enter after the breakout. Is it okay? Yes, sure, as well. It's fine, right? But then you will need to realize that your risk to reward will be slightly lesser because you're entering slightly lower. So this still managed to catch about 30 pips, right? So when price starts moving down, set your break even and then secure partials along the way, 20 pips, 30 pips, you can actually take some profit already. So if price does reverse, which in the end it actually did, right, you are still in profit, right? So this was a quick scalp right here. Now let's look at another entry that we actually did. So what entry was this? This was our M30 sell, correct? If you look at the M30 sell, what happened during the M30 sell? It actually came into our sell zone, right? However, does it mean that when it enters the sell zone, you can straight away enter? No, right? You need to wait for the breakout. That's what we always say. So did this seem like a breakout? Not yet. Okay, so no chance of entry because price just kept on going higher and higher, essentially even, right? Potentially forming another higher high, right? But we need to see whether did it break the zone. Okay, so what happened next, right? It actually created an M5 fair value gap. So then I actually said that if you want to actually sell, okay, price must first close below this as a breakout sell, confirming that price still wants to go down, right, before we can actually start to sell, right? And then once price does that, breaks below, closes below the FVG, next thing is that we wait for a retest of this FVG, right? And what do we want to look out for? Same thing, we want to look out for another fair value gap, M1, maybe even M5, to see whether we can enter to proceed to sell, right? Now, if you look at what happened after that, you can see that at this point in time, M5 did not close below this fair value gap at 3354. It still respected it, which means that, hey, this means price may continue its way up. So at this point in time, there was no entry. I've not entered anything just yet. Now, this was the actual entry that I actually did. And if I were to go to our charts to actually see the exact thing that happened, so at this point in time, price broke below this fair value gap, closed below, even on M5. So we can see M5 close below, right? And I say that if you want to sell, wait for it to go back to the fair value gap before selling, right? So at this point in time, when it closed below, wait for the retest. Now, where did this retest happen? This retest happened in M1. Can you see? There was an M1 fair value gap. Essentially, the fair value gap was up here. So fair value gap was actually up here, okay? So what happened? When price retested back into this fair value gap, this was when I initiated the sell, okay? Because I did sell straight away, I waited for when there was a red candle, all right, bearish candle, then I actually went in for the sell, which was around 3354, right, thereabouts, this level right here. And then you can see at this same area here, price dump all the way down to what we have about 90 pips. Okay, and as price keeps going down, you already know we usually set break even. So if price continues its way down, we are still reaping in the rewards, right? So like for now, I'm still holding on break even, right? So, and as price goes down, let's just say 40 pips, 50 pips, 60 pips, 70 pips, thereabouts every 20 pips, I will actually take some partials, right? So that I can secure more of my wins. And I also have no risk. I manage my risk because my break even will actually help me in case price does reverse, go all the way back up, I'm still in profits. Now, when we come to setting break even, okay, my break even was actually very, very close to my entry. My entry was around here, right? So my break even essentially was about maybe 10 pips, 13 pips at the most, right? over here. Okay, now it's also important to know when should you actually set the break even. I didn't set it when price was around here because at this point here to here, it was too close. There's always chance for price to pop, hit your break even before going down. So we don't want to set too close, right? I only set it when it was probably maybe 30 pips down, I would say. When price broke out of this, showing a bearish momentum right here, broke out of this. So at this point, let me see how much is this? It's about 28, 30 pips, right? As I mentioned, 30 pips. All right. So once price closed here, I actually did set my break even. Now, if you set your break even too far, all right, again, notice what is this? This is M1 fair value gap, right? So if you actually set your break even around here, for example, there's always a chance for price to come and tap this fair value gap before going down. So you don't want to set it too close at a spot where you might actually get tapped into. All right. So yeah, you notice here, price did break below, come back up, tested this fair value gap before actually going down, right? But in this case, it did not really, go up very much into the fair value gap, just barely touched it before continuing its way down. So if you put it too close, then or too far from your entry, it becomes like a trading stop loss, and you can't enjoy the upside of this. So just another note is that currently right now, okay, we are still waiting for price to break this roadblock right here. If it wants to continue its way down to our support at 3332, it have to break this first. If not, it may get respected and continue its way up. So you don't want to risk that. Okay, of course, it is good if it just breaks down right now, but we don't know if it will just play, ping pong until night or something like that. All right, so we just want to be careful, right? So let's also see what happened to the trade after it has played out. So as you can see, this is the trade that we actually took 3354 entry, and price went all the way down 180 pips to around 3356, where we secured our profits. So right here is what I shared with my team, 180 pips waterfall, taken 90 pips profits, and showing the trades that were still actually running. And I actually even gave a trade update after that. As you can see right here, H1 did not actually close below the roadblock of 3342. Hence, one of the reasons why I decided to close the trade, because at that point in time, it was also very, very close to news. I believe CPI was approaching that time. So I didn't want to further risk the trade, close the trade with full profits. So I will also put out the full profits that I actually took together with some of my students who actually joined in the trade and also profited as well. So I hope you like sessions like this where I do full trade breakdowns on my actual train of thought before approaching the trade, so that you get to take similar trades like this for yourself. And if you want to see how I also did a live trade that moved about 200 pips, be sure to watch the video somewhere around this link right here. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Remember to like, subscribe, and I will be able to share more content like this. See you guys. Bye-bye.